Welcome everyone to a new gameplay series on Rule the Waves. This will be my third playthrough in total, although I guess second if you don't count the tutorial one, but it was its own Let's Play series as well. Anyway, we are going to be doing, as I've long promised, Austria-Hungary, and my original plan is kind of to choose more of a torpedo-heavy run-through, but that's really subject to change just depending on if I'm getting my butt kicked or whatnot. So I'm going to be not using historical budget for this one. I'm going to use game naval budget. It's something I touched upon on one of the Atlantic Fleet videos, but mainly I just don't want to run into a situation where they have like 40 ships and I have like 10 or 20. I'm totally okay if they have 40 and I have 30. I don't mind being at a slight disadvantage, which I'm almost surely going to be. But I think it's going to make for a more interesting fight if, you know, it's like 5 versus 8 instead of like 3 versus 8. Yeah, I got to give myself at least a small chance of winning. Because when it comes down to it, unless you're fighting in very poor conditions or you do some really tedious tactical management, greater numbers is just better. There's no way you can gameplay around it. If all the enemies are firing, it's a random number generation where the shells actually go. And you're just fighting statistics at that point, and that's no fun. So, like I said, we got plenty of saving games. I'm going to overwrite this one, just for your own reference. This is game one was game one or game two, I forget. One of these is the Let's Play tutorial series. Then we finished my Germany campaign. I was kind of having fun with another USA playthrough. It's probably the most fun nation to play as, in my opinion. A little bit overpowered, perhaps, but it's pretty fun. And then I'm just going to overwrite this one. And I really like the Japan playthrough. If I was to do another playthrough after this, it would certainly be with Japan, because I really like their setup is pretty good. So Admiral Tortuga comes back. Austria-Hungary, I don't really have any special name I can choose for that. So we won't use historical resources, but we will be using the manual build of the Legacy Fleet. This just means we're going to construct the fleets from scratch ourselves. Now, it doesn't really matter. The first ships you have are crap anyway, with the only exception being usually the minesweepers that you choose at the very beginning are the ones you keep for the rest of the game. So there we go. Game 4, overwrite, and on we go. So we're going to spend quite a lot of time building our initial fleet just because it just happens to take quite a while to do. Let me get this out so it's actually full screen. If you don't remember from one of my previous Rule the Waves series, this game has a real problem targeting this exact window. If you switch between combat, it'll drop the recording. Even switching from that initial screen we had to this screen, it'll drop the recording. It doesn't think that they're the same window. So I will be just capturing a fixed part on my monitor. That's going to be the same for the rest of the series. And sometimes I forget to move a little bit, adjust the window a little bit for combat. There's a slight adjustment that I have to make. I apologize in advance for any of that stuff. But let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to want... What kind of ship do we want? I think we're going to go with a battleship. Of course we're going to go with a battleship. But do we want to build one? We have 13,000 available from the local yard. We can get 16,000 from Great Britain. So probably what we're going to end up doing is building 2 types of ships. This looks terrible. Excuse me. We're going to spend most of our money on a ship which we actually purchased from the Great Britain dockyards. Now, Austria-Hungary and Great Britain weren't the closest of allies, if I'm being honest, during this time period, but that's okay. They'll let us do it anyway. In fact, it doesn't start us with any real tension at all. So the one that makes the most sense, of course, is that we shouldn't have any tensions with Germany. Historically, these empires were very close. Alright, so let's see. 19 is the speed I want, yes. Let's crank it up to 11. Put this displacement up to maximum. This battleship, I think we will definitely be using short-range ships for this because Austria-Hungary only starts with one naval region that it occupies. So if we want to do any kind of defense, we don't have any foreign stations basically, which is fantastic. So we can do a lot of things with short-range ships, mainly just because we don't have to move anywhere. Short-range ships have the disadvantage that they can't strategically move during war. But that won't be a problem, we can just leave them home. However, for our main battle fleet, this will be the one that rolls out and seeks big engagements against other nations. So we need these guys to have at least medium range. Alright, it's been a long time since I've played. Probably since the end of my Germany Let's Play series. Because I guess after like 40 or 3 episodes or whatever that one went up to, got a little bit tedious and I just put it down for a while. Let's see, if I'm remembering correctly, belt extended should be 3, deck should be 2, deck extended 1, conning tower is going to be much higher than this, probably something like 13. We're going to want the greatest guns that they can get it, which, not the quality -2 doesn't make sense, so we'll just stick to quality -1 12-inch guns. That seems to make more sense. Central rangefinder, 2 positions, that's good. And I still haven't figured out if the 2 fire control positions aid each other. I believe how it works is it's just redundancy. So having 3, 2, whatever fire control positions doesn't help you any more than having 1, unless the first one gets knocked out. Alright, so the turrets, we don't want to have any turret explosions, although that's pretty rare in the beginning of the game. We'll get the turret explosions, especially because these are only going to have 2 turrets. So I'm not going to use a very high amount of turret armor. And again, the turret top, I don't really care about. I just want it enough to block the splinters. And I think 2 is enough to block splinters. We'll see if it's either 2 or 2.5, and I can't remember. If somebody wants to correct me in the comments, if they remember themselves, that would be fantastic, because it'll help in the making of my future ship designs. Also for secondaries, I'm not going to care too much about this. So we're going to see how much ammo I can add, basically, how many secondary guns I can add, based on all this stuff. Hopefully we can get quite a few. Looks like we are going to be able to get quite a few. Let's get the ammo up first. I think we want maybe 130. Let's go for 135. Now let's try to get this. That's a lot of secondary guns. We are also going to take down tertiary guns. I don't think that they're going to be that helpful. And now we can kind of do a little bit of armor increase with the very little amount of space we have left. I'm not sure how much this is going to get us, but maybe we can get up to 10 on the belt. I even want to drop down belt extended, to 2.5, because I don't think it matters that much. I mean, mainly let's just protect our belt. So 10, let's take up turret to 10.5, 11. Okay, let's go up to 14 with the conning tower, 10.5. This is going to be a beast of a ship. Oh, I see the problem right away. Of course, our aft is... Let's just increase the guns. What does our ship look like? Yeah, that's more or less what I would expect it to look like. Okay, we're 60 over, which we can... Oh, I thought we were going to fix it just by dropping that amount by a little. What if we take the conning tower down a little bit? And drop this. A combination of various things we should be able to get... There we go. Okay, so we can actually probably increase the conning tower. And maybe... Oh, this is... Oh, wow. Okay, so 140, I don't think that's necessary. I'd rather take the conning tower up. I keep dropping down. Okay, good. So this gives us 6 weight for increases in the future. I don't have any idea what those increases would look like, but that's fine. Reasons for not taking the tertiary gun: the more types of guns that you have firing, so primary, basically the different caliber sizes you have firing at a target, the worse it is. The more you have a greater decrease to your accuracy because you're not able to identify... I don't know, this doesn't make sense entirely, but you're not really able to identify the splashes in the water, which splash came from which shell, which hurts on your ability to hone in. Okay, so this is fine. I'm the Monarch. This is a perfect, just the absolute perfect name for my first battleship. I think everything checks out. It has cramped accommodations, which I failed to notice. That's not good. So that's going to hurt us a little bit. We're going to have to do a little bit more manipulation. Let's take down this to 130. Yeah, okay. It's 130. Let's go down to 10 here. This is probably going to drop us plenty, and 13.5. Okay, we need to go down to 13. Fine, fair enough. So we had to drop everything a little bit. 12 6-inch guns per side seems about right to me. This means that even later in the campaign, I can use this battleship to take on anything but other battleships. So the 6-inch guns should be effective. Very good. So I'm very happy with this ship. I think that we're good to go. So let's save her and let's get to the build dialogue. I'm just going to build one for now because I don't know how much money I'm going to have left over after we build other designs. So we can also spend a little bit of money here building a larger dock, which we're going to need. So let's do that. Okay, so now heavy cruiser. This is my least favorite design. Ooh, Kaiser Karl, Minerva. That's named, that's a little too long for me. Ooh, the St. George. Okay, yeah, we'll take that. That seems fine to me. So can you auto-design one, which is going to reset the name anyway? No, not that name. That's the only name I don't like. It's just too long. All right, so they want to design a 9-inch guns. It's not terrible, but I would like to do the double gun. Let's get it up to dual turrets, which makes more sense, I think, when you min-max. So that's fine. These guys are going to have 6-inch guns, 4 per side. I don't like that. Let's try to get this up to 12, even if I have to drop this down to 8. In fact, let's look at this gun data. So we're going to be penetrating even 4 inches of armor at 8,000 yards. That's pretty good. Max range is 10,000. Let's see what 8-inch guns do for us. Okay, I think I'm crazy, but this is 10,100. Yeah, I'm not crazy. The range on 8-inch guns is actually better. That is rather confusing. Okay, so then I guess we'll use 8-inch guns, which are still going to be good enough to penetrate most cruiser armor. I mean, heavy cruisers included, at close range, when we get down to 5,000 yards or so. So 44 and 35, let's just take a look at quality, or the 9-inch guns. 44 and 35. Yeah, it doesn't help us so much going from 8 to 9. The difference it's going to make, though, and this is something to consider, is 4.5 inches of armor we can penetrate with the 9 inches, where we couldn't penetrate that with the 8-inch guns at exactly 5,000. And then we have 39, which is, yeah, okay, it's just fine. I think just how much size are we looking at here? What's the difference? 700, and now we go down. Yeah, it saves us like 180. Let's do the 8-inch guns. The heavy cruisers, I prefer them to be just lighter ships anyway. We'll try to make mine around, okay, maybe 8,500. I'm going to actually go to 9,000 because I want to try to increase the speed. Okay, we're not going to get... Doesn't look like we're going to be able to get the speed I want. Plus, I want to go to normal here. This might end up being the ship we have to deal with here. And this is pretty terrible. This is the reason why I don't really like these heavy cruisers. Okay, so let's drop this down to 4.5 using the same gun data kind of statistic. If we get up to 4.5, unless they get close enough for our 8-inch guns, they probably won't be able to penetrate our belt armor either. So we want 2 for the belt extended just because that covers the secondary explosion stuff. Deck extended I'm always going to leave at 1. Let's get this conning tower a little bit... Oh, we're having some problems here, aren't we? Yes, because deck went up. That's a huge thing. But we need deck of 2 inches that's going to prevent splinters. So if I can at all help it, I would prefer the higher deck. There's not going to be a whole lot of deck action, like... this thing is slow, man. Probably going to have to go up to 10,000. I don't want to... I'd prefer not, but it looks like it's mandatory. Okay, so we're really good here. 5, turret 2, secondaries, let's go down to 2.5 just to save us a little weight. I might end up taking that back up, but I think actually that doesn't get us anything better there. Yeah, I think we'll just leave this at 3, and we'll probably be able to squeak out a little more conning tower. No. This is exactly the design specifications we need. Okay. So let's see what happened. Oh, great. So we can't use less than 9-inch guns because there's some kind of penalty associated with it. Well, okay. So we'll do a little more adjustments. Probably take the belt armor down to 4. It's certainly lower than I want, but that doesn't make sense. I'd rather not waste weight there. I'd rather actually just drop the tonnage of this ship. I mean, it's only dropping to 9,900 though. It's a big min-max game. Not always the most fun to play. Okay, can't get another secondary turret. Ho-hum. Well, everything's the way I want it. I definitely want these to have medium range because, actually, yeah, I want them to have medium range. Okay, do I? No. You know what? I don't. I'm going to leave these as short range. I don't like them anyway. I don't think they're very useful. So that gives us up to 22 with this exact setup. And I do appreciate that extra amount of speed. The alternative is I could leave it at 21 and just make them short range. I mean, lighter, which will make sure that they cost less. Yeah, we know that's intentional. So the St. George is going to be like an anchor, a harbor defender, really. Okay, let's just leave it like this. It's not the best, but I don't really like the heavy cruisers anyway. Okay, what's next? We need a light cruiser. So let's clear all this. Auto design some kind of light cruiser. It really wants to give us Zenta, so we'll take the Zenta. 23 sounds good to me. 2 is fine. 1.5, okay. In fact, I don't think we even need deck armor. I don't know what the difference of 1 and 1.5 is. Does it increase the chance that splinters will cause damage? I don't know. I think that's just a fixed cutoff at 2. That's my understanding. So we're going to be able to make this ship pretty light, and therefore, I hope, pretty fast. Okay. Right now they're dealing with, we got a 5-sided broadside. That's pretty good. That's probably, oh, we want 6-inch guns though, so that's going to hurt quite a bit. Okay, let's get to 2.5 if we can. Conning tower up to 4.5. Turrets, turret top. Let's get at least the turrets to the same as the belt. Although these usually, it doesn't matter if they get hit. We're not going to have any secondary guns, so let's just delete that right away. Medium. Okay, so now we just take the range up until this makes sense. So 5,500. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's get this value up quite a bit. We can probably drop this down a little as well. Okay, it looks like 5,100 is going to be fine. We can basically almost do 5,000, but we'll stick at 5,100. Because I think this is everything I want. We have the stupid protected armor, protected cruiser armor scheme. That's less good. You want your cruisers, your light cruisers, to eventually have the normal armor, but this is, until you research the technology, you can't. It's impossible to not have that. All right, torpedoes. That's what I did wrong. I forgot to delete the torpedoes on my big battleship, which are just useless, I've found. So everything's okay with this. This will be my long range, even though it's only medium. This one will be the one, excuse me, outrating foreign waters. And that's why it's not going to be short range. I do want the 2 torpedoes on this one, though, so that is intentional. Other than that, we might as well just min-max with this. I mean, how much? Yeah, we really can't drop down to this much, to the next one. We really don't need all this ammo, though. So maybe there's some other better use for it. Maybe going up to 5 or even 5.56. Okay, fine. How much does this increase to? Nah, way too much. Okay, we'll leave it exactly like this then. Save and go. The Zenta. Yep, a Zenta class. Now let me just take a look at this design. Can I open this design real fast? I did have torpedoes on this. That's silly. Well, there's no way I can take it back now. I won't have torpedoes on the version I can build. So let's just go to that right away before I forget. Clear and auto design another one. Wow. I don't know what this first word means. Erzherzog Franz Ferdinand. Like emperor? Perhaps emperor. Franz Ferdinand, an emperor, of course. Right. We need to take this down to this. We want speed of 19. Yes, I know that this is going to have pretty solid impact on everything else, but that's fine. 10. Turret's 8. Yeah, for turret top, I think 2.5. Secondary is way lower. Now this is going to be another one of my harbor defenders. So let's delete the torpedoes. No need for those. We're still going to try to use... I guess we have to use 11-inch guns because that's the max that we have, correct? Yeah. So we'll be using 11-inch guns on these. Let's actually make sure that that's 10.5 versus 10.5. So 48 and 4 versus 48 and 4. Wow. So 11-inch guns are significantly better. We'll definitely be using those. Let's also get this ammo up to something reasonable, like maybe 120. I could be okay with 115. And now let's just play with the numbers until we can get something that works. I don't mind losing secondaries, so let's drop that down to 3 even. Now we have 7-inch guns here, and we have 3-inch guns here. Let's get rid of all that, which is already going to help a lot. But let's take it all the way back up as far as we can. Okay, we can probably min-max this a little bit. Conning tower down to... Oh my gosh, we're just so close. Okay, there we go. So this is an 8-inch belt, 8-inch turret design. Main thing about this guy, oh, we forgot to do short range, so actually, in fact, we have a lot more size to play with. I'm going to try to get to 8.5. I think that would be better, and if we can get to 9, that would be better still. We cannot get to 9. I prefer turrets and belt to be the same. So, I mean, we could just at least get the turrets to 9 then, and then just take the conning tower up a little bit. Increase our ammo a little bit more. Yeah, this is fine. Because we can always go back and reduce our ammo in the future as a way of saving a little bit of space if we need to, you know, I don't know, do some kind of fix. I don't remember. Oh, maybe add torpedo defense. I don't know. There won't be much changes we're going to want to make to this design, to be honest. But there she is, the 13,000 ton Erzherzog Franz Ferdinand. Did I miss anything? Short range? That's actually by design, but thank you for notifying me. Yeah, I think it's okay. We probably do want a little bit more ammo anyway, because these are 11-inch guns. They will fire a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and save that one and get her built as well. So we're dealing with still 345 million funds. We need a destroyer, which I won't really take advantage of very much in the very beginning, because in my opinion, destroyers in this time period were just torpedo boats. That seems to be the optimum role for them. They don't have any armor, so yeah, something designed like this is pretty good. I already think I like what they're going for here. And since quality 3, I mean the 3-inch caliber guns have quality 1, I will stick with those. This might actually be the exact boat that I use. Let's see. Let's just go to normal though, even if it means costing us probably a knot of speed. And we'll bump up this ammo a little bit more as well, since the destroyers can run out of ammo. Huh. Yeah, there's not really anything more we can do. The cramped versus normal, I just don't like it because it can sometimes have an impact on your unrest, from what I've read, so we'll just leave this thing a little bit free of space, which is fine. This helps it to prevent sinking, because the weight that this hull can carry is 500, but we only are weighing it down with 496. And sometimes that means also that, actually we'll lower this even a little bit more. Probably don't need... 215 sounds fine. Sometimes being further under can help you get more speed out of your ship than you thought anyway. But if nothing else, it means it won't sink as quickly. Okay, very good. So let's see, is there anything else? Overcrowding. Yeah, that is a problem. Which we can get rid of, I think, if we just remove this aft gun. And now, do you complain about overcrowding? You don't. Can we even get that 1 knot of speed back? I think so. Yeah, we can. Great. I know we did sacrifice, but basically this ship is not going to be designed at all for surface-mounted combat unless it's using torpedoes. Now, unfortunately, in the beginning of the game, torpedoes are just terrible, so this destroyer will really just be doing nothing until our torpedo technology gets a little better. That being said, I think it's not a terrible idea to design your destroyer in the opposite manner that I've designed it here. Maybe it is better just to put like 5-inch guns on it and no torpedoes for the very beginning, because torpedoes are pretty bad. The advantage I'm going to have doing this is, at least if a ship gets heavily damaged, I can send my destroyers in to make a torpedo run to finish it off. But, you know, at that point you've already won the engagement anyway, so yeah, the pros and cons, I'm sure you can work through them and figure out what's best, but this is what I'm going to go with. When, of course, we want at least one of those. Now, the only ship that is going to really stay with us for the rest of this entire playthrough is going to be the minesweeper. So you can't go wrong with the 200 displacement, really slow, cheap minesweeper. In fact, I found that you can actually put armor on these, which is kind of silly. Conning tower. I think we get the conning tower up to, yeah, 7, which is very ridiculous, of course. And now I think we have to have 1 armor for each of these. Very good. So now this is a ship which probably can defeat my destroyer in combat just because it's actually able to have armor. Bit of an exploit, perhaps, and I wouldn't argue that that's the case. Oh, the Archduchess Sophia. Okay, that's fine. That's an interesting name. The goal here is just to make this ship as light as possible, though. We do need to get ammo. Let's take that up to the max. You can actually go over your total tonnage, but it's not recommended. I think this is exactly the ship we want. And this will just plunk this everywhere to do its minesweeping duties. Very good. So let's save and quit. I hope I'm not forgetting anything there. So this video has already gone on for 27 minutes, just constructing our initial fleet. So those are the designs. What I'll do is I'll actually stop this recording here. We'll jump in back into the series in the next episode. I will already have chosen all the ships that I'm going to start off with. Basically, I'm just going to do the math and choose which ones I should buy. But these will be the starting designs. Okay, if I'm really frustrated by the fact that this Monarch has these 2 battleships, torpedoes, no, I'm not going to do anything with it. It's fine. So this is these are the ship classes that I'll make, and we'll just see what I end up purchasing come the start of the next episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this new series on Rule the Waves. Since this is the first video of the series, I don't ask this very often, but if you wouldn't mind leaving a like for this one, just so it's easier for people to find on YouTube search features, that would be greatly appreciated. And other than that, I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care.